Hello and welcome to another Company of Heroes 3 game. My name is Fancy Josh, and today I've got a game for you between RedxWings as our British, and his opponent today is going to be Theodosios. So, just by happenstance, I've uploaded like 2 Theodosios videos in the last 2 days. They were recorded a week apart, and here I am recording another one. So hopefully you guys aren't getting sick of Theodosios. He's clearly on the grind. I think my guess is he's been enjoying the patch because I've seen a ton of his 1v1s. Every time I'm online, he is too. So, and here I am catching him live against RedxWings, probably my favorite player to watch, just because of how crazy his strategies are. So I am looking forward to this game. Standard opening for our German here, 3 Pioneers into Grenadier. This gives you a lot of early capturing power at the cost of combat effectiveness into the mid game. That said, nothing's going to keep you from building 3 Grenadiers. Just kind of different take on the opening. British player going for 3 Royal Engineers, which is a different take, and following up with a heavy machine gun. So, I can't remember who it was that I watched called, somebody called RedxWings a meme lord or something like that. In any case, it's very true. RedxWings does not like to play standard, and that's what I like about him. So, we're already seeing that to begin this game. Map today is Angeville Farms. Cluttered right side, lots of hedgerows, lots of buildings, but 2 victory points. Left side wide open. Equal resources on both halves. And of course, this map has been around since Company of Heroes 1. Probably the most iconic map for me personally. I have a lot of fond memories of playing this as a young man. So, and quiet opening continues. Second Grenadier on the way. Neither player has locked in their command group just yet. Should say battle group. Heavy machine gun going to support these Royal Engineers as they push in. Grenadiers coming to help as well. Neither player going to pick up that victory point. Just making sure that they weren't going to trade there. Bunch of Pioneers and Grenadiers on this right side. British player floating a bit of manpower here. Curious what he wants to do. Interesting barbed wire there. I think that's to block that right side of that sandbags. Royal Engineers at a good combat effective range here to do maximum damage. Focusing these Grenadiers down. But Pioneers have something to say about that. And I do think this fight favors our British player. That said, our German's doing okay. Ooh, yeah, reinforcing that engineer at the last Pioneer at the last possible second to keep him in the fight, but nearly lost the unit anyway. More Pioneers on the scene, and German player is going to win that fight. Grenadiers holding down this fuel point on the left. Lots of sandbags coming out, so going to be able to hold down that point even longer. British player continuing to float about 1 million manpower here. Okay, picking the Canadian shock group and adding on a Canadian shock section immediately. So that does seem to be his plan, where he floated a bunch of manpower trying to get to 1 command point, and then quickly added that unit on. And he's also doing something else interesting, which is offensive resupply. So this is another perk you never see. And man, I am so excited about this game. So the reason I'm so excited is because this is my favorite battle group as British. I don't consider myself a British main, but I do really enjoy playing British, at least these days. And he is going for some non-standard stuff, so a lot of folks, everybody and their mother takes attacking spirit. But he has taken this offensive resupply, and I'm so excited to see that. Now, I have not got to talk about Canadian shock troops in a long, long time, but they are darn tanky. Particularly at Veteran C2, they get this 20% damage reduction, and you might be thinking, well, that sounds normal, but it's not, because everybody gets the harder to hit bonus, and very few units get the 20% damage reduction, or damage reduction in general. And it makes a massive difference against something like AoE damage, so mortars, Stummels, you know, what have you, right? So this unit is incredibly tanky in the late game, and it can even be tanky when standing outside of cover, which is totally ridiculous. And if that happens, I'll talk about it. Canadians holding down this cutoff point, denying a bit of resources to his opponent. Big fight on the right side as well. Flamethrower engineer's going to bail out. Lots of grenadiers, though, and I do think our German is going to win this fight. Nicely done. Canadians continuing to hold down this point. I mean, that's what they do best. They just sit on a point and don't let their opponent have it. Look at all this barbed wire here from our German player blocking all these heavy covers to our British player so that he wants to get aggressive. He's got nowhere to stand. Heavy machine gun duking it out with this Stummel. It's not a fight these heavy machine gun is going to win. So, like I was mentioning, our British player has gone for this offensive resupply. So it reduces the cost of abilities when you've captured a point. And I've literally never seen anyone use this, but I think that could be really, really powerful in combination with these Canadian shock sections, especially if they go for the 2-inch mortar package. Imagine decapturing a point and then casting a grenade or a mortar strike for free. Royal Engineers barely winning that fight. Both players still have fuel income. German players done a better job overall controlling the victory points, but oh, excuse me, our British player's done a slightly better job, but only barely. Second Canadian section on the field here. Not wanting to duke it out with that Stummel there. So I'm curious, I don't know. So, me personally, okay, so he is going to go for the platoon command post. So what I was about to talk about is where does our British player go from here? And when I play this type of build, I only go for 2 Canadians because they're so darn expensive to keep, to call in and to maintain. But you also need to go for the platoon command post if you want to call in, if you want to use their abilities, which is to say the Piat package and the mortar package. Personally, I also think the mortar package is better, but, well, I'm curious what RedxWings is going to bring out here. Can you tell I'm just over the moon about these Canadians here? Oh, he went for Burnout, too. Very, very cool. So, Burnout is another ability you don't see because of how strong Incendiary Munitions is. So, Incendiary Munitions obviously makes all your stuff leave behind fire. I think it also, it doesn't explicitly say this, but in my opinion, it increases the initial damage that your grenades do. I could, of course, be wrong about that. If you happen to know, please let me know. My point is, everybody takes it because it's really, really good, and Burnout has to compete with that in the tree, right? It's the alternative. So this last patch, they buffed it, and Burnout now only costs 1 command point, and is also cheaper in terms of munitions. I think it used to cost 80. So Burnout, of course, decaptures a point and also makes you capture that point faster if you get to it in a short period of time. And that combos with something like Offensive Resupply. So I'm really, really happy to see this. We could, on this map in particular, it's going to be pretty good. He can call it down on like this cutoff point here, or maybe a victory point at a critical time. Now the only caveat there is you have to have vision of whatever point you're calling it down on. And it's very cool to see. So, love to see that Burnout. Now, our British player did go for Piats here, so he's going to have an answer for that Stummel half-track. And I didn't talk about it, but big fight breaking out here. Royal Engineers being cooked by Pioneers. Canadians going to drive back the first set of Pioneers, but the flamethrowers are coming in. Heavy machine gun on the way to try to help out, retreating back to his heavy machine gun. Smart choice. Not able to dislodge these grenadiers out of heavy cover there, and is going to catch all these units with a beautiful heavy machine gun behind the hedgerow. Stummel on the scene. Royal Engineers from behind here, probably going to get up in these grenadiers' faces. Pioneers actually made it past the firing arc without getting suppressed. Canadians chasing the Stummel there. And what a crazy little fight. Stummel getting a good hit here. Grenade coming out. Royal Engineers going to have to give up the position. More Royal Engineers on the scene to deal with these Pioneers. What a ridiculous fight this is. So second upgrade on the Piats here, going after the Stummel. Might see him go for the critical shot to slow that unit. But did not get it off there. And Vickers machine gun going down there, but British player is going to be able to recapture it. And what a little crazy fight that was. British player floating a bit of manpower again. Curious what he wants to do with that. Might see something like a... Might see something like another Humber armored car, or should say the first Humber armored car. But we could also see another Canadian shock section. And now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know what the right decision is. It depends on what he wants to do next, and I think he has a lot of options. Oh, a really nice grenade from those Canadians chasing these Grenadiers. Might be able to pick them up on their way out. Stummel on the scene to help out, though. Grenadiers taking seemingly no damage on their way out there. And smoke grenade from the Stummel to block the vision there. Minesweepers here. Looks like he might want to cut this wire. Can't decide if that's actually what he wants to do or not. Is going to do it now. Love this wire. That used to be such a common strategy back in previous versions of Company of Heroes. And I haven't seen anybody do it in Company of Heroes 3, so fun to see that. And Stoss trooping on the way for our German. Very cool. So really committing to that really committing to his infantry. And unfortunately for our British player, adding on an AT gun when he doesn't exactly need one. That's okay. Better to have it and not need it than the other way around. Grenadiers capturing some territory here. Stummel continuing to be obnoxious. And yeah, so there's so much I want to talk about in this game. So the Grenadiers, our Panzer Grenadiers, love to see those. Those are going to be pretty good this game as well. They, of course, got a buff last patch, increasing their accuracy at medium and close range. And going to do pretty good against the Canadians. Now, yeah. So I was going to say, I think this heavy machine gun from our Germans, from our British player, is a good choice. It's going to let him deal with the massive amount of infantry he's facing down at this stage. And it's going to help support those Canadians as they charge in. Does look like the German's going to manage to secure this top side here. British player moving out to meet him, though. And look at these lines drawn across. Just a nice little arc of Germans and British across the entire front line there. Pioneers flanking here through this newly cut wire. Big fights happening on both sides. Piat launcher missing on the right side. Now, for those of you that don't know, Piat is just about as effective as a Panzerschreck in terms of flat stats. Same fire rate, same damage, that type of thing. Royal Engineers trying to hold the line against these Panzer Grenadiers. Probably not going to work out for them. They do need to run right now. Are they going to make it? Just barely. Nicely done. And map looking a little scary for our British player, but he is going for this cutoff now to deny those new resources to his opponent on that left side. So lovely move there. Pioneers doing something similar. Going for some cutoffs potentially, or maybe just the victory point. And burnout being called down here on this cutoff point to deny that to his opponent. And maybe he's going to come back and steal this fuel, totally cutting his opponent off from literally everything on the map. Canadians trying to hold down the point there, and it does look like our British player is going to succeed in capturing everything, if only for a short period of time. Cool move, if nothing else. Pioneers cooking away at these Royal Engineers, but they've closed the distance, and these Pioneers got to bail out. But not before taking heavy losses. Might go down there. Oh, and a free flamethrower for those Royal Engineers. That's going to be a nice pickup for him. Heavy machine gun on this left side, driving away some units. Being flanked by some Stoss trooping, though, and going to give up the position. More Canadians to try and take this cutoff point, but unfortunately for him, Grenadiers already on the scene. Huge grenade. Gammon bomb taking out a ton of those Grenadiers. Doesn't look like he's going to get him on the retreat. So fortunately for our German player's added on another Stoss troop in here. Fully committed to that infantry. These Grenadiers just continuing to capture away a ton of territory from his opponent. But British player is going to put a stop to that. Victory points still very even this game, despite everything that's happened. Haven't seen much of this AT gun, unfortunately. Another AT gun on the way, though. And this Stummel has been really, really strong this game. It's been cool to see him being very careful with it, very deliberate with it. And, of course, British player hasn't been able to do a whole lot about it because our Germans being so careful with it and tactical, right? I mean, he brought it in at the perfect time, it seems, every time. Nicely done there. A little rather red map right now. British player trying to change that, but running into some nasty units on this left side here. Might see a Gammon bomb come out here. Mills bomb instead. Doing a bit of damage to those Stoss trooping. Stoss trooping also threw out their phosphorus grenade. Here comes some Royal Engineers with flamethrower. Heavy machine gun here to support as well. Gammon bomb not quite connecting there. And German player is going to give up this position. Continuing to use free Mills bomb. Every single one of these bombs is free as soon as he decaptures, which is so cool to see. That's what this green buff is, by the way, in case you're wondering. And yeah, wow. Very cool build. Finding a mine is our British player. It's a good decision by our German to not let his opponent into this space for free. More grenades coming out. I'm going to walk right back into it and hit another mine while that was happening. Looks like the Royal Engineers are going to finish the capture. Canadians probably got to get going. Stoss trooping going deep here. Being debuffed by these pyrotechnics from our British player here. And, you know, I've been neglectful here. I've been so excited about our British player's build that I have not talked about our German's battle group. So he has gone for the mechanized battle group. And he's doing something unusual with this mobile repair stations, but raid package totally normal, rad car totally normal. Although we haven't seen him add on any, and he has unlocked Panthers here, which, based on the fact that he's gone for those, well, there you can see he's adding on one now, so there you go. British player continuing to float about 1 million manpower. And I do suspect we're going to see him go for the Churchill this game. I think if he was going to go for the Demolitions Engineers, we would have already seen that. But, yeah, I think we're going to have a Crocodile this game. Now, the Crocodile saw a change last patch, so it got a nerf in terms of costing more command points. But its AoE ability on its flamethrower is much better. And I guess it also got a nerf to its manpower cost. So, Panther on the scene here. Now, Panthers, of course, not super good against infantry. They do better against infantry than they did in previous iterations of this game. And Piat bouncing right off the front of that. Right off the front of that Panther, and that's what I'm talking about, right? We saw it get a connection against those units there, so doing a little bit. Stummel on the scene. AT guns helping out. Getting some good hits. Are we going to see a snare from these guys? Not yet, but he is going to throw down a Gammon bomb, totally wiping that unit there. Nice pickup. Have a machine gun, big push on this left side. Does look like our British player is going to be able to pick up this space here. So something else about Canadians is they get this assault rush ability, which is a 15% damage reduction when they throw a grenade or use a mortar. And you'll see a little shield icon on them when that happens. Like that. That's what I'm talking about, that shield icon right there. So, can make the unit able to stand literally in the open and throw a grenade, and it's like they're standing in heavy cover because of all their reductions in damage and accuracy. It's totally crazy. Another burnout barrage here, going to cut off this fuel point. And now he'll be faster to capture that territory if he wants to. Canadians coming in on this right side. Stummel also here to help out. Flamethrower on the ground there. British player going to be able to capture it. I do think that was a stolen flamethrower that was dropped by a Royal Engineer. Good hits by the Stummel there. Going to drive away the Canadians. And this game has had action everywhere. This game has just been all over the map. I love it. So, getting real close to the crocodile here. One command point to go. German does have goodness sake. The German does have access to the Vesp, but has opted for a Sturmpanzer instead. I think that's a good decision given what he's up against. He's seen literally 0 armor from his opponent. And British player destroying these stone walls here from the looks of things so that he can see past them. So Sturmpanzer, a great choice here by our German player, right? I mean, he, like I said, literally 0 tanks. And the scariest tank that he's liable to see here is a crocodile. And the crocodile is not super good against tanks in general. I mean, it does okay, but ultimately does not have that massive penetration required to go through the front armor of something like a Sturmpanzer. That said, a 17-pounder from our British player could work just fine. I think if he managed to lock down this right side like he's trying to do now, with a 17-pounder, that could definitely work. And by the way, this is what happens in this particular map as the game goes on, right? Players tend to start focusing one side just for the sake of victory points. We're seeing that here. So again, that grenade, despite the fact that it missed, gave this unit a massive defensive bonus. Canadians finding another mine here in the trees. Sturmpanzer on the scene. Has been upgraded with those side skirts for the increased armor and health. Heavy machine gun covering the flank here. Nicely done. AT guns ready to fight. Huge hit on those Royal Engineers. Going to get out of there. Canadian's going to finish this decapture. And he's going to run for his life there. Stoßtruppen almost going down. AT guns backing up as far as they can. Heavy machine gun moving out front to spot. Isn't quite going to be able to see those units. I like this low health capture by our British player. He's already here, might as well capture it. That unit is relatively safe on the wings of the map there. Panther not doing a whole lot for our German right now, but there is a crocodile just called in here. So that Panther's time to shine is right now. Heavy machine gun holding down this house. Going to eat a phosphorus grenade for his trouble from the looks of it. Bailing out of the house and going to retreat. Crocodile here to save the day. Stoßtruppen going for the cutoff point from the looks of things. Pioneers on the left side capturing a bunch of territory for free. Stoßtruppen taking a ton of damage. Might go down here. Nice pickup by the crocodile there. Surprise attack from behind the barrier there. Going to let him pick up that unit. Where is our Sturmpanzer? Sturmpanzer still in the back there. Crocodile moving up. Burning some more infantry. Oh my goodness, look at how much damage that was. Holy cow. Sturmpanzer coming in. Gonna deal with these Royal Engineers. Crocodile continuing to get good hits on all these units. Already Veteran C1. Completely wiping out those Grenadiers. And Canadians here. Now, Canadians have hit that critical Veteran C2, so they are actually going to be very tanky against something like the Sturmpanzer. Just wait and see. Here come the AT guns to support. Crocodile continuing to dish out damage. AT guns bouncing off the front of the Sturmpanzer there. Crocodile closing the gap. Now, he is debuffing this tank with that flamethrower, slowing it down. Continuing to get decent penetrations here. And here comes the Panther to help out. Panther actually missing its first shot. Piat launcher getting a critical, using the critical shot ability to slow and disable this tank's weapons for a short period. Crocodile continuing to be aggressive, still at full health here. Trying very hard to pick up this Sturmpanzer. Doesn't look like he's going to get it though. And we did see that tip of the spear activate, giving massive bonuses to units around it. That's a healing and a discount on abilities here. And what a push from our British player. Holy cow. You know, he did pick up a SOS troop in early. And I think he also wiped an engineer there, Pioneers, I should say. But more importantly, managed to capture the 2 victory points. And while all that was happening, our British player was pushing on this left side, picking up a ton of territory, even going to get a decapture on this point, finding all sorts of mines in there with both his units and the barrage. Piat's trying to pick up that half track, but gonna have to bail out. And now that they're Veteran C3, they are even tankier. They're actually more combat effective at Veteran C3 as well. Royal Engineers throwing a Mills bomb here, debuffing the units so they have to stand in the grenade. And does look like the Pioneers might actually do okay in that fight, but going to give it up. More Royal Engineers on the scene. Nice little mine from our British player. Picking up a couple Grenadiers there, basically stopping them from moving into the area. Grenadiers going for the cutoff point, but unfortunately for them, going to run right into a Crocodile. Huge damage coming out. Crocodile trying to close the gap, but not going to happen. Map blinking red. A little bit there. And amazing how much work one Vet 3 STOS troop and group can do. Company command post on the way for our British player, finally. A casual 27 minutes into this game, trying to pick up those Panzer Grenadiers, not quite going to happen. Burning all sorts of units there. Sturmpanzer coming in. AT guns bouncing right off the front, going to eat a shell here. Crocodile here to save the day. AT gun behind. And looks like both players are going to back up here. It looks like the British player wants to get aggressive. Got these Veteran C3 Canadians on the scene. So they decapture places faster, they're more accurate, and they have more health. Piat coming out, really wants to get that Stummel from the looks of things. This is very risky for this Crocodile here. Another good hit by the critical shot ability from those Canadians, disabling this Panther for a short period of time. And getting very aggressive with this Crocodile here. Cannot afford to lose it, so I'm surprised he's being so aggressive. I guess he does have both Piats on the scene, which are actually dealing decent damage to this Panther. AT guns set up, but not in a spot to hit, and there is a second Panther on the field here. This is so aggressive by our British player. I mean, what's totally insane is that it seems to be working. Grenades coming out, again giving him that defensive bonus while he stands in the open. And, wow. I mean, he actually threw a grenade on himself there, and it just didn't matter. Burnout again coming down on this point on the left. Going to let him decapture it quickly and then capture it again. And this is just a total clinic on how to play this battle group with the new changes. I mean, it's just so cool to see. Canadians going to eat this Sturmpanzer here. Getting a good connection with that first Piat. German pushing out in force. A heavy machine gun did go down before our British player in that last fight. I didn't see where that happened, but he is one heavy machine gun down. And it looks like he just captured it. There it is. Panther's coming down the road here, trying to take back this cutoff point. Canadians, look how much more effective they are at combat now. I mean, we saw him get some really good hits there. Grenade coming out, gonna let this unit stand in the open. Grenadiers might go down here. Canadians not focusing. Yeah, not gonna be able to pick him up, but it was very close. Barrage coming out from that Stummel back there. Panther on the scene to deal with this crocodile. Engineers here as well as the AT guns to dissuade those Panthers from coming in. Does not look dissuaded to me, though. He's going to change his mind now. Smoke grenade from the Stummel. Going to make sure his tanks get out of there safely. And here come the Piats from the side, going for this low health unit. Might see a critical shot ability here. Slow and debuff this tank. Isn't going to happen. Going to get another shot, though. Going to bail out after eating a couple anti-personnel rounds there. But, I mean, just look, the fact that that unit can stand in the face of several anti-infantry vehicles is just totally amazing. AT guns have to back off here. And that looks like a Crusader 2 for our British player. I'm over here wishing he would build a 17-pounder, but 17-pounders have some pretty substantial weaknesses, so I'm not terribly surprised that he isn't. Crocodile sitting on this point, buffing up his pioneers with healing and free munitions usage. AT gun setting up on the Panther, but no need. And this game is madness. This game is total madness. British player down to 69 points. German player up to like 40 million tanks. Stoßtruppen are going to win this fight from the looks of things, but a grenade's going to do big work there. Crusader might pick up this unit on retreat, which would be absolutely massive. That's a really big deal there. So our British player is managing to reduce his opponent's infantry count, which is going to make them, harder to control territory, and that's what we're seeing here. Heavy machine gun helping out, helping the Crocodile move that unit away. Crusader repositioning out of concern for a Panther coming to hunt him down. Wonder if our British player will go for a Crusader 3 here to deal with some of the vehicles he's facing. Might be interesting. Veteran C3 heavy machine gun getting barraged by the Stummel is going to have to give up that point pretty quickly here. Crocodile moving in. Sturmplans are on the flank here, though, and these Panthers are behind Crocodile here. AT gun's not facing the right way. And this might be a dead Crocodile, which would be pretty stinking devastating here. Smoke is coming out from the Crocodile, but German player attacking ground there. Sturmpanzer's picking up one of the AT guns. Looks like he might get the other one. Crusader 2, which has been upgraded to the Crusader 3, is trying to help out, but he's too little too late from the looks of things. Panther's chasing. And this is a pretty devastating push by our German here, picking up all sorts of units that cannot be replaced. And our British player is going to stay in this fight, getting a flank on this Panther. But Crusader against two Panthers, I can tell you right now who's going to win that fight. Canadians trying to take down this Panther. Smoke grenade going to save the day from the looks of things. Here comes one more Piat shot. And bounces off the front there. Look at how much punishment those Canadians can take. Holy cow. Mine from our British player going to stop that from happening. And, despite the totally insane losses our British player just experienced, including his Crusader 3, he does control 2 victory points. But that's not going to be for very long here. And wow. This game has been... This is one of my favorite games I've cast so far, by a long shot. And it's not just because I love the Canadians. I think it's just a really cool game. We've seen some totally unique strategies and some epic tank fights, and it's just been a great game. Panthers, now Veteran C3. Moving in here to the enemy base, bouncing a bunch of shells from the Canadians there. And German player gonna secure his second victory point here. So British player on the clock. Crusader 2 is on the map here. Where's that Crusader 2? Here it comes. Trying to get in behind. Is he upgrading it? He is upgrading to Crusader 3. Makes sense. And, you know, I can't think of a better matchup for these Canadians here. Canadians versus Panthers. The Canadians can pretty much stand there all day. But with these Sturmpanzer and Stummel on the scene also helping, it's really tough for our British player to make progress. He's going to start ticking away at this Panther here. German just giving up a little bit of ground. British player did manage to decapture that victory point, so still in it here. Stopped the bleeding. Crusader 3 helping out a little bit, but not able to penetrate the massive armor of this Sturmpanzer. Panther chasing the Crusader here. This is Veteran C3. It does 40 increased damage on every shot there, and that's going to be a dead Crusader. So nice pickup by the German. German going to quickly secure this point here using the quick capture on those light vehicles, but that's going to be the end of the game. Wow. I mean, you know, I expected this damage disparity to be higher, but what an impressive game from both players. British player using some unique tactics and not a ton of armor against his opponent who used a ton of armor and just beat him down over the course of that game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one.